Hello and welcome to today's Hellraiser blog. We're going to analyse in today's Hellraiser blog the semi-final of the World Boxing Super Series, the bout between Callum Smith and Nieky Holzken. Nieky Holzken's come in as a last-minute replacement, literally very, very late on. He actually boxed just like a couple of weeks ago in Holland, so he will be in good shape, and actually scored a very good, I mean his best result to date, he scored a stoppage against a decent level Ukrainian boxer, Viktor Polyakov, who got to the quarterfinals of the Athens Olympics, and has scored some good results, but there's different reasons why I think that result doesn't necessarily mean that he's on the level that it would show at first. Firstly, that Polyakov hadn't boxed for almost a year, and boxers, say from Ukraine, I know have a massive problem finding sparring, and he'd been out for a year, and he hasn't got a backer now, he's just sort of basically on the road, so I know he basically probably, if he had any sparring at all, would have been really low level. Not the kind of sparring you need to prepare yourself for guys that are now fighting at a much sort of higher level. And he got stopped on a body shot, I think it's his second round, and you can find it, it's on YouTube, you can find that fight to give you some idea. So this Nieky Holzken, he can definitely punch, I think we can take that. He comes from a kickboxing background, he was a high level in the Glory tournaments, and he competed in K1 as well, and he's known in kickboxing actually as more a kicker than a puncher, so that doesn't really bode well for him going in with someone like Callum Smith. When I first heard of this fight, it's just disappointing. It's a bit of an anti-climax because, like I said, they put this massive effort to put this event together, and we now. For me, Eubanks Groves was an anti-climax. I thought the production was first class, was brilliant, but the actual fight, Groves sort of outpointed Eubank, as we know, and he sort of took a decision which was really, it was the right decision, not to gamble, not to get involved, not to take any risks, just keep outboxing him, because he's just winning round after round after round. And it's probably right to do that, and if we think like the last round he manages to dislocate his shoulder, well, maybe if he'd have engaged earlier, that would have happened earlier, and then that might have had an impact on the outcome of the fight. So his tactics was, you know, were spot on, and you can't really criticise, but didn't make for the blockbuster fight that I thought we might get if Groves goes after him a little bit more, because I think Groves would have stopped him. Anyway, so then we hear that Jürgen Bremer is out. I mean, I would heavily favour Callum Smith to beat Jürgen Bremer. Jürgen Bremer's been a good fighter, but I mean his best days were a long time ago, I think. And I think Callum Smith would have beat him fairly handily. Okay, so back to Holzken and what's going to happen in this fight and how can we assess it? Well, Callum Smith I first met as he was a sparring partner. We were looking for sparring for Hassan and Dan and Jikam when I was still am working with the Akaris promotions in Paris, and we needed sparring for Njikam, and Callum Smith sort of suited what we needed, tall guy, and he fitted in very well, gave a really, really good account of himself, and I realised this is a really classy, good level fighter, and I think Callum Smith will go and prove that. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people in his career. He's a quality fighter. So the first thing that struck me about Callum Smith is his reach. His reach is nearly 2 metres. It's something like 1.98 m, I think, something like that. Okay, so we compare that with Holzken's stats. I mean, he's 6 foot tall, so he's 3 inches less in height, and then his reach is 74 inches, which is 88 centimetres, which means basically he's got 10 centimetres in reach to make up, which means that Callum Smith can, if he wants, which I don't think he will do, but if he wants, he can just sit on the back foot and jab him. And this guy's going to have to come forwards if he doesn't come forward, he loses the fight. There's no question about it. I think he loses the fight anyway, but it will register very quickly with him that he can't get anywhere near Callum Smith unless he gambles. And gambles means charging in, basically, coming forwards. I don't think this guy has got the head movement. I've seen some footage of sparring with him and J. Leon Love, who I do rate actually quite highly. He's a good fighter. But you can tell he's sort of struggling to keep pace with J. Leon Love. And I just think boxing-wise, he's going to struggle. He's also got to come forwards. He's quite wide open. I think he's open to the right uppercut. He's actually open to the right hand as well. I don't like his defence. I don't think he's got good enough head movement. Funny, because a lot of kickboxers, they don't really sit down on their shots. They tend to hop about, and even after years of boxing, that seems to be something that really they struggle to get rid of. Well, this guy doesn't hop about so much, but he doesn't sit down on his shots either. And he prefers, again a kickboxing thing, he prefers to block punches on his arms, on his hands, than to slip punches. Well, if you're fighting someone who's taller than you, you have to slip. I mean, my whole career, I can only ever remember twice boxing someone who had longer arms or was taller than me. If you're blocking on your hands and the other person's got longer reach, you can't counter because they're out of range. You need to be able to come inside to maybe like dummy, feint, wait for the shot to come, slip it, and then counter once you're in close. But this guy doesn't really do that. So it's just a no-brainer. He's got, for me, his only chance he has, because he can definitely punch. He looks to me like he can really hit. Even though he doesn't get as much leverage in his shots as what he possibly could, he clearly has a dig on him. And like I say, the fight I was talking about with Polyakov, Polyakov's a decent fighter, you know, Olympic Games quarter-finalist, not a pushover. And Polyakov actually said to me, I speak to him, he actually said to me he was going there, he expected to win. He was going to you know, to do the business, not just to turn up for his money. And he was genuine. I could tell that's what his intention was. But got caught with a very good body punch, and that was the end of his night. Big difference still to me going to Callum. I really rate Callum Smith. I think he's a good fighter. He's had a bit of a stuttering career, I guess, the last year or so, or leading up to the Super Series, but don't know exactly the reasons for that. But I think if he dispatches, I think it's very much in his favour if he dispatches this guy spectacularly, because we've seen, look, Eubank went and boxed Avni Yildirim, who I don't rate at all. You know, he's not a bad fighter, but he's limited. He's not. When I was hearing all these stories about Yildirim, the hardest puncher, no, okay, perfect for Eubank. Made Eubank look like mustard, and created that wonderful betting opportunity that came up with the Eubank Groves fight, because a lot of the casuals were buying into Eubank because of those kind of performances. But then now we have Callum Smith. I think he's got a motive to look spectacular. So my prediction, I think early Callum Smith, first 3 rounds. I think you can get 3-1 for that, or 7-2 even. I saw at one point. So that's a good bet. 7-2 in the first 3 rounds. I think that's blinding. That's brilliant. Check on Odds Checker. You know, obviously the prices change all the time, or Betfair. Okay, so yeah, that's my prediction. We'll go Callum Smith first 3 rounds, and then we can try and, if it is a harder fight, we can gauge from that maybe something to see how he'll fare against George Groves in the final. It's not count our chickens. Let's watch it tonight. I'm going to watch it anyway, and I'm really looking forward to it. And hopefully then we get a good all British final. Thanks for watching, guys. Give us a subscribe. Cheers. Bye.